Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your host, Amanda, and we're back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, what's been going on, guys? I missed you. A lot's been going on, and I miss podcasting. I know I always open up with, "Dang, Amanda, where you been? Where you doing all that stuff?" Well, okay. So, life's been pretty busy, and it's taken off for me. So I will make this announcement now. This is the mid-season finale of Thompson and Stuff. So I'm going on vacation. I need a vacation. I've been working hard, podcasting, writing, just doing a bunch of stuff. So this is the season finale, or this mid-season finale. You know how like you watch a Love and Hip Hop or something, and they go on a mid-season finale and they don't come back for another 3 months? That's what it basically is. But I'm not gonna go away for 3 months. Trust me. I'm gonna be away for about a couple, like maybe 3 to 4 weeks. I'm preparing for my vacation. Also just catching up on writing and stuff. Good news about my writing and retirement, because that is still looming over my head. I have leveled down my last 3 projects. Well, it's 4 projects, but I'm working on one now. So I have my last 4 projects picked out, and hopefully I will be done by those by mid next year. Again, retirement, it might be short term, it might be long term. I do want to follow other passions and stuff. So, you know, I'm excited but nervous and sad because, I've been doing this for 20 years. So hopefully everything will work out. And, you never know. Michael Jordan retired from the Bulls and he came back as a Wizard. So you never know what can happen. And of course, it's late August. I have not podcasted since last month, so we're doing a little better on the gaps between space. And it's late August. Hopefully, everybody with children, all my listeners with children, your kids are back in school, and I wish them a very successful year. It doesn't matter if they're in kindergarten. It doesn't matter if they're in college. We gotta, cheer our babies on, make sure they do good in school, and please be careful. Most importantly, the kids be careful when they're in school. About late last month, we just got news that monkeypox was a national emergency. So if your kids want to, and I urge them if they want to wear their mask and get vaccinated and all that stuff, social distance and everything. And yeah, so let's get into the podcast. So much to talk about, so much to get into. So buckle up, y'all. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna start with the J-Lo news. So as you guys know, J-Lo actually went to Vegas to elope with Ben Affleck. Um, I'm happy for them because I wish at the same time they would have done it like 20 years ago. But then I thought, if J-Lo married Ben Affleck like 20 years ago, she wouldn't have her kids because, as you guys know, she married Mark Anthony and had her twins by him. But they did it a really cute way. I saw the photos, very vintage, like beautiful. And she wrote a statement, the love is kind, love is patient thing. And she joked at the end that love is 20 years patient. But very recently, they just had like their major wedding down at Ben Affleck's house down in Savannah, Georgia. He owns like this big compound down there, and it's like on 100 acres and stuff. And I bet he paid nothing for it because down in Georgia, you could get you a land and a nice house for little to nothing. I mean, I can imagine, he lives in this big old mansion in LA. Um, well, the one he had with like what's her face, Jennifer Gardner and stuff, that probably cost like $10 million. But he bought that compound down in Georgia for like, I don't know, $2 million. So again, little to nothing. So they got married probably 2 months ago, probably last month. I don't really remember, but they're already married basically now. And then they had like that big wedding down in Savannah. And that was beautiful. I saw a picture of Jennifer's dress, and that was a beautiful dress. And you know what else surprised me? That her dress was not designed by Vera Wang. Now, I always hear that there is like this Vera Wang curse. I mean, no disrespect, nothing against Miss Wang, but I always hear that there's something about this Vera Wang curse, right? The Kardashians got married to Vera Wang. Look how that ended up. Some other celebrities got married in Vera Wang. They divorced now. But J-Lo's dress down in Savannah was actually designed by Ralph Lauren. And I like Ralph Lauren. He makes really nice clothes. So um, the wedding was beautiful. They had like a white, like, the I don't want to say carpet. I don't want to be ghetto and say carpet, but like that white train that they walked down the aisle. They had one of those. Now I didn't see official photos except for JLo's dress, but I saw like the helicopter ones that people, when they're in the helicopter, they stand over and they take pictures down there. But from what I saw, it was a beautiful wedding. People like Kevin Brown, what's the guy's name from Jay and Silent Bob? He was there. But weirded me out was Ben Affleck's brother Casey wasn't there, and Leah Remini is Jennifer Lopez's best friend, and she wasn't there. But I think both of them didn't go for the same reasons because they had kids getting ready to go to college, and they wanted to spend more time with them. Now, I hear stories all the time about how, parents with college kids, they drop them off for the first time and they're just in shambles. They're hurt, they're going to come home without them because they're going to be down in school. And I don't blame them for, taking time with their kids because Leah Remini, the daughter, her name is Sophia. I remember they had like a reality show on TV some years ago. That's her only daughter. That's her only child. So of course I understand having more time with them. So when they do go away to school, it won't be as bad. So, Leah, I understand you skipped JLo's wedding for that. And I think Casey was the same reason. I don't know Casey Affleck that well, but he is a little older, so I do assume he has college kids. So yeah. And then, after they got married the first time in Vegas, her ex-husband, I think it was Judd or Ohio. I don't know his name. One of her ex-husbands said it won't last. Now, that's not nice to say, but she truly loved that man. Okay, let's say this, okay? I agree with that ex-husband, but I also disagree with that ex-husband. Now, why do I agree? I agree because Jennifer Lopez has been married 11 times. I disagree because she was engaged to Ben Affleck before they broke up 20 years later after Juicy Couture suits and whatnot. They're getting married. It's meant to be. And Jennifer is kind of up there in age. She does not, well, I'm not saying she's dirt old, but she is like over 50, and no one wants to get a divorce past 50 unless you're Rupert Hall and Rupert and Jerry Hall. Yeah, no. But yeah, I think she truly loves him. They're going to be happy. They all moved into Jennifer's house, and I love Jennifer's house. I love the way it's designed and everything. So I wish the happy couple nothing but happiness. They're gonna be together for a while, in my opinion. I know people around me are saying, "Girl, they ain't gonna be together long." They ain't gonna be together long. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. Next, two of my favorite shows are breaking up. One of them is my favorite radio show. The second is one of my favorite like YouTube clip shows I like to watch. I don't really watch the Desus and Mero show on Showtime. Well, now I really can't anymore because it's no longer. Desus and Mero broke up. And basically, they were blaming management. And I'm surprised that they weren't blaming each other on things. They were blaming management. Desus, he didn't like how the manager was, handling himself. And the manager was no longer allowed on set to tapings and everything like that. Whereas as Mero was like, hey, this is my guy. I'm going to stick with him. You know what I mean? So that broke up. It was abrupt too because I could have sworn like one night I was watching something on Showtime, not Showtime, but like on YouTube, because these Samiro, they would have like their pre-show clips, the pre-show clips, and they'll show like little snippets and stuff. Them, I remember around Thanksgiving they had like a liquor tasting or something. It was so hilarious. So they had stuff like that, and then 2 days later, I'm reading something that says Desus and Mero broke up. And then before that, my brother told me, but I just didn't want to believe him because I love Desus and Mero so much. And I didn't want to believe him. But then 2 days later, I saw it and I was kind of devastated. But if you guys have been watching, I guess primetime TV, Desus is on there hosting Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know where Jimmy Kimmel is, but he's hosting for Jimmy Kimmel. And Mero is kind of MIA, but he did an interview with that one barbershop YouTube channel explaining different relationships he had in the industry. Um, will I think they ever come back together? Maybe. Desus and Mero have known each other for many, many, many years. So we'll see how that pans out. The Breakfast Club breaks up. Yeah? Okay, so let me explain. So one night, we're all chilling. Probably Wednesday, Thursday. It was in the middle of the week. And then Angela Yee puts out a tweet saying, "The Breakfast Club is over as you know it." Now, people are scrambling, automatically assuming that The Breakfast Club is canceled completely. I honestly didn't think so. The Breakfast Club was not canceled. The big hint to me was Angela Yee said, "as you know it." So when someone says "as you know it," that means it's what you're used to. So the next morning, we got the news that Angela Yee is leaving the Breakfast Club to start her own morning show in the fall with her own co-host and stuff. So congratulations to Angela, always paving the way for young broadcasters like myself. So I'm so proud of her. Um, a lot of people over the years have been saying that the Breakfast Club is kind of tanking. Um, I agree and I kind of disagree because sometimes they do have guests that are like kind of questionable. One time they had like Dr. Umar on there and probably had like Kevin Samuels on there before he passed away. But I think now, I think it'll grow a little more. I don't think they should hire a replacement either, though. I think Charlemagne and Envy, they should carry the show by themselves. It would make things better for them, honestly. And, Charlemagne and Envy, they are older gentlemen. They're in like their early 40s. So they kind of were into like that hip hop scene when I was a little kid, when it was like, beefs and all that stuff. And they should carry on that tradition of, uh, older generation friendly hip hop. I do like what the Breakfast Club is doing because if you guys didn't know this, guess who helped me register to vote in a weird way? Charlemagne the God. So I say that to say, they help out with the community. Not a lot of the times are to argue, but they do things for the community and charity work and all that stuff. So my wish is that they just carry on the show themselves. I think it will be better and they'll have like the ratings that they had probably back in like 2010. I remember when I was like in high school, I think it was my 18th birthday, Kanye West or Jay-Z was on there. And of course, that's for my generation. Because if I walk up to a high schooler now in 2022, probably a freshman or a sophomore, and I ask them who Jay-Z is, they'll probably say Beyonce's husband, but none of the credentials that he had since like 1996. So I think they should just carry on with that. And speaking of Beyonce, Beyonce has put out a new album. Now, I have not listened to it. I know a few songs, but I'm not a Beyonce hater, but just her music's not my cup of tea, But nothing against Beyonce. But the funny thing is to me, Khalees. The situation with Khalees makes me laugh. And the reason why I want to talk about Khalees is because it kind of goes back to what I always preach, that Prince preached, just to own your masters. Own your masters. I don't know how many times I've heard Prince preach this before he passed away. So Khalees is basically mad that Beyonce sampled a song on her album. In my opinion, I think Khalees should, I don't want to be grateful, but be honored because it's Beyonce. Like, Beyonce is one of the biggest stars on this planet. She's a bigger star than Khalees, and I'm sorry to say. I mean, I love Caught Out There and Milkshake and Bossy and all that stuff. I love those songs. But if you look at what Beyonce is doing and you look at what Khalees is doing, and Khalees is doing her thing. I follow her on I think I follow her on TikTok. And Khalees is like basically a farmer now, and she has her own farm. She lives somewhere like in California. I think it's like Temecula or something. And she does her thing. She doesn't really do music like that. I mean, I did see a TikTok that saw her build a studio on her farm, but I haven't heard any recent music from her. And then y'all gotta also keep in mind her husband just died, so I keep my prayers with her. But Khalees didn't own her masters. So I don't know why she's getting mad about that. Maybe I mean I understand she's mad that she sampled a song and Beyonce didn't reach out. Okay, yeah, I understand. But what if Beyonce did reach out? Either way, like just be grateful. Like Beyonce used your music, and I heard rumors that at first it was a rumor that she took it off, and then Khalees was like happy, but then they officially took it off because Khalees was whining. But Khalees, honey, stick to cooking, please. And leave Beyonce alone. Leave Beyonce alone, please. And have y'all been watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I've stated this before on this podcast. I've been watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills since I was in high school. Never missed one episode. Like the saying goes, rain, sleet, shine, or snow. There were times I didn't have cable in my house. There were times I didn't have internet at my house, but I somehow made a way to watch that week's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Erica Jane. Erica Jane is scaring me. And you want to know why? Because she is. If you guys remember the episode from a couple weeks ago, they were at Garcelle Bouva's birthday party, right? Her sons were there. And basically, Erica cussed at her sons. Now, Erica is a 50-year-old woman, right? The child she cussed at was 14. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what's right and what's wrong. That was dead wrong. Drunk or not, you don't cuss at nobody's child, especially a black woman's child. Oh no. That don't sit right with me. And you know what? I think that Bravo should do something about Erica, not just sit there and film her bad behavior. And I used to really like Erica. I did. I loved Erica. I have some of her music on my Apple Music. But I'm just disappointed in her behavior these past couple of seasons. The first season, last season, I kind of had a little sympathy for her because, her husband, Tom, was diagnosed with dementia and she lost that. I mean, I wouldn't say lose everything. She did stay on the show. She packed up and she moved out that beautiful house in Pasadena. Speaking of her legal issues, y'all know she got served at the airport, right? Here's what happened. So her, Lisa Rinna, and another housewife was at the airport. They went on a luxurious trip to Hawaii, right? So Erica's at LAX. She's returning home, and somebody served her with a $50 million lawsuit papers. And you could see the shame in Erica's eyes, honestly. You could. Do I think Erica is guilty? I cannot say yes or no, but I feel like she might have a little bit to do with it, but not as big of a role like the media plays her out to have. So I think she was involved in something, and she's kind of hiding something. And it's weird because I just read Erica's book. She released the book like probably 5 years ago. I looked on the back, it said 2017. So it's about 5 years old. And she loves Tom, and she didn't have like a really rough life. Like she was an entertainer her whole life and all that stuff. So I think she's just putting on a show for the cameras, or it's the editing process that, reality TV shows do. But we shall see. The season is not over yet. I think it just started. If anything, it just started. So we should see. We should see. I would like to send my get well soons to Lil Duval, the comedian Lil Duval, who is so funny. If you guys have never seen School Dance, if you've never seen Grow House or Meet the Blacks 1 and 2, I still haven't seen Meet the Blacks 2. I love Meet the Blacks 1, but I really want to see 2, but I can't find it anywhere. But I want to send well wishes to little Duval because he was involved in an accident. He was hit by a car in the Bahamas. He is currently recuperating at home. I follow him on Instagram. And what happened was he was driving in a four-wheeler and he got hit. So they had to take him to the hospital in the Bahamas. He was in there for a while. And then they transferred him to another hospital in the States in Miami. And then he's back home in Atlanta. So get well soon. Duval, we are praying for you. We love you. I'm a big fan. I love you. So yeah. And Peacock, let's get into some TV news. Peacock is moving Days of Our Lives to, or I'm sorry, NBC is moving Days of Our Lives to Peacock. Now, the reason why I wanted to report on this is because my grandmother is in her 70s. I'm not going to put her age out like that. She'll get me. My grandmother is in her 70s. She's been watching the soaps probably for like as long as my mom have been alive. So she's into Days of Our Lives and stuff. So I want a clarification because I really didn't have a chance to research this, but I have a question. Anybody can help me out with this. So they're going to move all the episodes to Days of Our Lives. So how is our elder grandmother's going to watch it? Because my grandmother doesn't understand like apps and stuff. Like she has the stuff at her house, but she doesn't use it. So how will that work? Will that be exclusively to the Peacock app so they can't watch it on NBC? Did they not think about like the elder population that watches the soaps that don't work, sit at home all day and watch the soaps? So I wonder how my grandmother's gonna do with that one. Because she loves the stories. She calls it the stories. Like every black kid growing up, they didn't go to school or it was summer vacation. You had to stay with your grandmother. You couldn't act up because the stories was on. Those bring back great memories. And my grandmother, she's like a soap opera head. Like she's got put me on the shows like Greenleaf. And then when I was growing up, it's not a soap opera, it's a comedy, but she put me on the Martin. She put me on the Roseanne. So she put me on the shows like that. It's crazy. So not only is Peacock moving Days of Our Lives to the app, I read somewhere that CW is basically going for cheap. Now, basically, they're going to just make cheaper programming, and that worries me because some younger people do watch the CW. Now, they said that the average viewer there is 58. Like, I don't understand how is that the average watcher because they have shows like All American, The Flash, Riverdale, all that stuff. So they're going to make cheaper programming, and I don't think it's going to work. I honestly think it's not going to work. It's going to fail because nobody really likes watching cheap television. You know what I mean? Like to me, a cheap show, and no offense to anybody who listens and works on the show, The First Family, it used to come on I think it was Bounce. And I don't want to say this show because I love Bentley Kyle Evans. He is a fucking genius, okay? He is a genius. He made the Jamie Foxx show. He worked on the Martin show, all that stuff. So I don't think it was his production, but it did kind of look cheesy. Like other shows on Bounce, like Cut Time or In the Cut. I'm sorry, In the Cut and Family Time. I think those are more Bentley Kyle Evans productions, but I don't hear anything about CW signing on Bentley Kyle Evans. So I just don't think the CW is gonna work out with that. And in my heart, I am still anti CW because they replaced the UPN and the WB, and I grew up watching that stuff like the UPN, Moesha, the Parkers, um, Eve, just all those great black shows. And then the WB had great black shows too, obviously. Wayans Brothers. They had Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which was not a black show, but still, it's a really good show. So, CW, I'm watching y'all. And in R. Kelly news, I don't really like reporting this stuff about R. Kelly because y'all know he got 30 years, but then he's got another trial coming up. So, Joycelyn Savage, I hear reports that she is pregnant. Yeah. Um, I don't think that's a good idea to be pregnant by Robert Kelly right now. Um, I think she should go home to her family. Now, I can't tell somebody what to do with their bodies, But if you want to have the baby, have the baby. But it's not going to be easy having that child. And I'm not trying to speak out of turn. It's just that R. Kelly is in a pickle. In a pickle beyond a pickle beyond a pickle. Okay, so, you know, R. Kelly's never getting out of jail. Let's face that right now. R. Kelly is never getting out of jail. You want to know why? Because, yes, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Now, you guys also have to remember R. Kelly has about 2 other trials to get to. So he has the trial here in Chicago. I think he didn't do the one in Chicago yet. Or if he did, that's when he got 30 years. He had to go to New York. And then also, he has the trial in Minnesota. Yeah, and I don't see acquittal in any time soon. So, Job Tristan Savage, I don't know you. You don't know me. We're not friends. I've never crossed paths with you. But all I can say to you, because we're about the same age, is make the right choice. And your family loves you. They miss you. And make the right choice. And the next thing I want to talk about, it's a shock to me. A big shock. Well, not really. But yeah, it is. Did y'all know Serena Williams is retiring from tennis? I'm not shocked, but I am a little heartbroken. Serena Williams is 40. I think she's almost in her 40s. She's in her late 30s, probably almost 40. And she's been playing tennis since she was a little girl. You know, if you guys ever seen the movie King Richard, she needs to do something else. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, she can't do tennis, you need to do something else. No, but what I mean by that is she should, expand. Just expand, expand into another creation, expand into another industry. I think she is trying to cross over to fashion and stuff, so that's good. Good for her. And she actually wants to have another kid. Her first child with her husband is adorable, so she should have another baby. And she should. And also yesterday I listened to her on Meghan Markle's podcast. Now, if y'all didn't know, Meghan Markle has a podcast and it's exclusively, just like mine, exclusively on Spotify. I'm not exclusively on Spotify, but she is. It's called Archetypes. And I think she named it after her son Archie. And it's really, really cool. So this week she has Serena on, but next week she's gonna have Mariah Carey on. I cannot wait to listen to that. I love Mariah Carey. I've been a Mariah Carey fan my whole life. So I want to know what they will talk about as both mixed women and how they grew up and stuff. So that would be a very interesting listen. And before I close out this section, I do want to send some RIPs. I feel like I've been sending RIPs out a lot for this past like half of the year. First, I want to say rest in peace to Ivana Trump. She is the first wife of President, and I take that term lightly, President Donald Trump. Now, her burial situation is kind of messed up. Why would Trump bury her on his golf club course? That is so weird. And then how she died was weird too, because she just fell down the stairs at her house. Like, that's bizarre. Like, I don't know. I feel like someone pushed her, but they say that it was no foul play. But okay, sure. Rest in peace, Miss Trump. And next, rest in peace to Bill Russell, who's one of the greatest basketball players in NBA history. I don't know what he passed away of, and I don't think that really matters. He lived a long life. I think he was 88 years old. So rest in peace, Mr. Russell. Nichelle Turner, she was the black lady on like Star Trek. She passed away. I think she was ill or something. So rest in peace to her. Olivia Newton-John, as you know, is the lady from Grease. I've never seen Grease. So I don't know her character, but I know she was on Grease. Um, she passed away of cancer. She had like a cancer battle of like over 10, 20 years. So unfortunately, she did pass away from that. And Heach, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I heard it one time. I'm like, okay, that's how you pronounce it, but I kind of lost it. Her situation was kind of sad. She was driving and she drove into a house and it was a fiery accident and she was on life support and then she was declared brain dead one day, and then 2 days later, or a few days later, she officially passed away. She left behind 2 boys, and they said the reason why she wasn't well is because her husband, her and her husband was kind of falling apart. And I understand if you truly love someone and y'all ain't on the same page, it could hurt. It could really, really hurt. And lastly, rest in peace to Lamont Dozier. Now, a lot of you might not ever hear this name before. Lamont Dozier is a producer for Motown, and if you guys also didn't know, he is the cousin of John Pops Williams. So rest in peace. He made a lot of history and was a part of a lot of Motown history, even probably for the Temptations too. So yeah, rest in peace to all of them, and keep their families in your prayers. So if you guys haven't heard, Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson have broken up. They were dating and were together for 9 months, which is a good amount of time. The reason why for their breakup is because of distance. I want to say distance. Pete was in Australia. He was filming a movie, and Kim, of course, was in LA. Doing her thing. She's got Skims. She's got her skincare line. And I want to complain about this skincare line and them Skims. Now, I ain't trying to tear no other woman down, but that stuff is really expensive. Now, I read somewhere that Kim said that stuff is affordable, yet a complete set of skincare is like $500. Come on now. For the working woman, it's $500. Come on, Kim. Really? And that Skims underwear, I read on page 6 somewhere someone bought a pair, and she was a plus size woman, and it said it was kind of see-through. Come on now, Kim. Come on. And y'all know, I'm, binge watching the Kardashians again. I see so many red flags in that show. I'm just going to keep on watching because it's nothing but red flags in that show. And I think I probably said that before in this podcast, but it was so many red flags in that show. So yeah, Kim and Pete broke up, but she says she truly loves him and she wished him the best. So it wasn't on bad terms, which is good. And Pete's going to be on the 2nd season of Kardashians, and that comes out next month. So if you guys are into that show, that's on there. Will Smith put out an apology video, and I'm just like everybody else. I'm over it. Will, we've heard you apologize on the stage. We've heard you apologize via statement. Now you putting this out. I think nobody is really talking about that slap anymore. Not even Chris Rock is talking about that slap. Like, he's on tour with Chappelle and them. He's not thinking about the slap. But he is good news, making his way back to social media. He just put up a video like yesterday of him FaceTiming this woman, and she was using words like salvatize and just these words that didn't make any sense. So things for him is slowly but surely getting back to normal for him. So hopefully we could just talk about the slap one time at the end of the year wrap up and just move on from it. Honestly, it's old news. Like, come on, put Will in a movie and let's do something. Make Bad Boys 4, because I really enjoyed Bad Boys 3. I remember that was the last movie I went to go see in the theaters before COVID. And it's crazy because I go see Bad Boys 3 with my best friend, right? 2 weeks later, we're all locked down. So, yeah, life kind of sucked for us after that. So make a Bad Boys 4. And then wrap it up because, they're older, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. So they don't need to be doing all them crazy stunts and stuff. So, yeah. Britney Spears is having drama. Now, I don't know if I reported this in the last podcast, but Britney Spears did get married to Sam. They had a wedding, and then her ex-husband tried to crash the wedding and all that stuff. Now, with this drama, the kids are brought into it. There was a report that said that her teenage boys didn't really want to see her right now. And then Kevin Federline leaked this video that Britney was yelling, air quote, yelling at them. Now, I saw this video on TMZ, and they made it worse than what it really was. Y'all gotta understand, Britney Spears is 5'2". Her boys must be really tall because Kevin Federline is tall. And she was just fed up with the boys. They probably did something stupid and she just got upset. It's called parenting now. I don't have any biological kids of my own, but when I watched that video, she's just a fed up mom. I didn't see her put her hands on them boys. She was just yelling at them like any other mom of two teenage boys would do. It's not that bad, and it was not that deep. TMZ, Kevin Federline. And I don't understand why them kids was brought into that situation. The boys don't want to see their mom right now. That's not true, probably. Excuse me. Them boys is almost like 16 years old. Hell, I remember when they were born. They probably got cars. They're like in their teenage years. They don't want to be around parents. They want to be with their friends. Let them be with their friends. Stop dragging them into stuff. And then, you know what? I think about it. Sam Ashkari, whatever your last name is, I'm sorry, but I'm on your team. Sam put out a statement on Instagram stating, Kevin's gravy train is almost up. And what he meant by that was, Britney pays Kevin child support. Them boys is like 16, 15, 16, 17 years old in that age range. Once they turn 18, and I believe that age is 18 because mine was 18, he's not gonna receive any more money. Kevin Federline got a mansion because of Britney Spears' money. Kevin Federline might drive a nice Cadillac Escalade because of Britney's money. So once them boys turn 18, what you gonna do, Kevin? What you gonna go back in the studio and start rapping again? I heard that album. Ain't that good, son. You need to go find something else. Please. So I think Britney Spears, she's just trying to get her life back together. Y'all gotta understand, somebody was running her life for 13 years. So she's starting to learn how to speak up for herself. And then she put out a new song with Elton John. I heard snippets of it on Instagram. It's pretty dope. Go on, Britney. Live your life. I've been a Britney fan since I was 3. I'm almost 28 years old. Britney, I'm rooting for you. Rooting for you and Sam because that wedding was beautiful too. So I'll leave that there. Crystal Smith, who is excuse me, it's very dry in here. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Very dry in here. Very dry. My apologies, y'all. Y'all know end of the summer means allergy season and all that stuff, and it was a little dry in my room. Let's get back on track. Because did y'all know Crystal Smith, who is the wife of R&B singer Ne-Yo, is divorcing him? I'm a little shocked, but not really. Now, why am I shocked? Because Ne-Yo is an R&B singer. I remember when he first came out and women were screaming after him. But then I'm not shocked. I am shocked because, okay, here, let me start over. I am shocked because to me, Ne-Yo was one of them R&B singers that, like, when they first came out, yeah, women were screaming after him and all that stuff. But then as the years went by, like, it felt like nobody was really checking for Ne-Yo. But Ne-Yo is very talented, so I don't mean that in a mean way. But he's an R&B singer. I mean, R&B singers get caught up in stuff. To me, in my opinion, this is my opinion. You please don't jump in my Instagram DMs and say, well, Amanda, this and that. R&B singers, I feel like, are not always faithful to their wives. And people, when I heard the story, people started jumping in and talking about his first wife, Manietta, who is a sweetheart. I don't know her personally, but I see her on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's Candy Burris' friend. She seems like a really cool, really nice person. And it was just a big mess. I didn't know a lot until it came out that Ne-Yo had a baby by another woman. And at that point, I was just like, yeah, you should leave because he broke his vow. So I'm so sorry about that, Crystal. But then they broke up before and they got back together and they just had like this big vow renewal ceremony in in Vegas. Like, her dress, everything was red and her dress was beautiful, and then now 4 months later she's filing for divorce. That poor woman. That's why I will never ever ever date an R&B singer ever. Well, I don't have to date anybody now because I'm happy with my man. But if I was single, I should say I would never date an R&B singer ever. If I was single, but I'm not. So there. Um, the next thing I want to talk about, Mystical was arrested for rape again. Now, um, I am a fan of Mystical's music. I've been listening to Mystical since I was a child. Um, if you guys remember, Mystical was in prison for 6 years due to rape in the early 2000s. He came out in like 2010. He was arrested again in like 2017 or so, but he was released because he was innocent. Do I think Mystical is innocent this time? I cannot give you a straight answer because I read reports that he was trying to get bad demons out of a woman. That's very weird. And then they also found drugs on the scene, and I'm trying to digest that because I remember watching an interview with Mystical. Um, I think it was Sway in the Morning or one of the black interview shows on YouTube. And the interviewer asked him, "Do you sing songs like Shake Your Ass and all that stuff?" And Mystical was like, "No, no, not really. I go to church." So I always kept that part in mind. And this church going man has heroin and all this stuff at the scene. So I want to keep a close ear out to this story. Um, I can't say if he's innocent or not. I just want to know like more detail before I really give a full comment. And I know sometimes you guys be listening like, dang, she's not giving a full comment. Because some things you hear you're just not sure of. And something like this is kind of heavy. So I do want to wait for that. Um, First Lady TV show on Showtime is canceled. I don't have Showtime at my house, but they did put up the first 3 episodes for free on the YouTube channel. It was a good show, but what really disturbed me was um, Viola's per, portrayal of Michelle Obama. While people were laughing at how she had her lips situated, I don't think Michelle Obama's lips are really like that in real life. So I was just kind of like embarrassed for her for that. And it was, yeah, it was a little cringeworthy um watching Viola do that with Michelle Obama. So they did Eleanor Roosevelt and then I think Betty Ford. So they covered other first ladies. It was a good show, but I don't. Viola should just use her natural face for Michelle. And that's the only thing that really bothers me. But great show, great writing. I hated that it got canceled. Maybe it could get picked up at another station or another. It could get picked up at Hulu at this point. I don't care. Just a more accurate portrayal for Michelle Obama. Justice for Michelle Obama, please. Um, let's see. Vanessa Bryant was awarded $16 million in the case of the photo case with the LAPD. I read somewhere on Lipstick Alley that she's going to donate that money. Yeah, she should. Money is not everything, and I've always preached that my whole life. You know, money won't bring back her deceased husband and won't bring back her daughter. So if she wants to donate it, fine. It's not like she needs it because she's in other businesses with Kobe and stuff. So if she wants to donate it, God bless her, because there's others out there that needs it more than her. So that's good. And Tevin Campbell came out as gay. I have nothing to say about that because as a black community, we've been new and we don't care. Very talented guy. What do you want us to do? you know, very talented. We love Tevin and we just want him to flourish. So shout out to you, Tevin Campbell. Shout out to Nori and DJ EFN because they've been having really great guests on the Drink Champs lately. I know tonight they're going to have Issa Rae. And then I know pretty soon they're going to have B2K on there. 3 out of the 4 members, because you know who's not going to be there. But they had a couple great shows these past couple weeks. Patti LaBelle was on there, and that was amazing because, you know, when I think of Drink Champs, I think of all the hip hop legends, you know, that were from my childhood. I mean, Joel Santana was on there, Cameron was on there. I think Mike Geronimo was on there, and you know that's from my childhood. Crazy Bone and all that stuff. But Patti LaBelle, she looked really beautiful on that show, and she did a really good job with the interview. And she is so open. Like, I have family members that are the same age as Patti LaBelle that are not as open as she is. And she let them like smoke in front of her and all that stuff. And I was just like deep down, like kind of cringing. Like, you could smoke in front of Patti. If I smoke in front of like an elder in my family, I get talked about so bad. But she was so beautiful. It was so amazing. Also, Irv Gotti was on there, and that was the complete opposite of Patti LaBelle. That was kind of bizarre, kind of funny, and kind of what the hell, you know. He was just telling it all, and I think he was in love with Ashanti, but Ashanti was not really in love with him. And now, if you ask me, did they have sex? I don't know. I was not there. But Irv Gotti, what I learned, I kind of was interested in Irv Gotti, but not in that way. And I wanted to learn more about him. So if you go on YouTube, it's a free app. There's that show Gotti's Way, and that reality show was probably from when I was like in middle school, and it was about Irv Gotti going through life as a separated man from his wife Debbie, who is a beautiful woman, by the way. And they had their kids, and you know they're trying to get adjusted to, you know, not having mom and dad together anymore. So yeah, and that show was kind of sad to watch in a way because, one, and I'm not trying to be like the old school goody two shoes, but they were not married, and Irv was just kind of doing dirt bad things. And yeah, it was kind of sad to watch. And then I got to the second season, and then it got kind of repetitive. Like, basically the wife was unhappy, Irv's out being a hoe, you know, stuff like that. So I stopped watching it. But yeah, they were on Drink Champs, and then also the Murder Inc. documentary is going on BET. I think last episode is next week, and I'm learning so much more about Murder Inc. Learning more about the behind the scenes, and I didn't know Vita was on Murder Inc. I knew who Vita was because, you know, if you know, what would I be without my baby, all that stuff. And then Charlie Baltimore, I think I didn't really understand that era of music because my mom didn't really let me listen to it. So I'm still learning things as a hip hop fan. But yeah, Charlie Baltimore was on there, Mike Geronimo, all that stuff. It's an interesting documentary, and kudos to BET for doing the documentaries right. They did the No Limit documentary, they did the Death Row documentary, they're doing the Murder Inc. And it's another one they did really, really well. I cannot think of, but I think next they should do Motown for the older people, just for them to see what it's like. You know, do your research, have something for that, you know, demographic. And lastly, I went to go see Elvis. Elvis was a good movie, just long. I went to the theater. I kid y'all not. Went to the theater at 7 o'clock, 7:15 ish. I didn't leave the theater till 10. And it was dark, and I had to drive home in the dark. It was just long, but it was a really good movie. I learned things about Elvis, fell in love with some of the songs, but I didn't love it that much for me to go back and see it again and again, because I don't see how y'all can donate y'all time to see a 3-hour movie. But it was a good movie. I think it's still in theaters. It's just, it makes a lot of money. But the thing that really I questioned was, there was a scene where they were introducing like certain people in Elvis's life, and they started remixing modern music into the movie. So, for example, they started remixing Toxic by Britney Spears. Y'all gotta keep in mind, Elvis died in 1977. Toxic by Britney Spears came out in 2004. So how does that correlate? But, you know, It's a movie. I guess that's a part of Hollywood for you. So it was still a good movie. I guess now it could be streamed on Amazon Prime. So I guess it's not in the theaters anymore. You could watch it at home if you haven't seen it. But I think that's the end of the podcast. Thank y'all so much for listening. I know this is kind of last minute. Again, I am going to be on vacation, so I will return probably early October. Please be on the lookout for more books. I just put AJ Townsend 101 book on Apple Books. Now, it does not have a cover because I'm still learning how to publish and stuff. I'm in the process of getting my stuff over to upload to Apple Books, so that will probably take a while. But I have AJ Townsend up. If you are into Apple Books, please buy your copy there. I still have my other books on Amazon, so you can purchase there as well. You can follow me on Instagram, adashmariesonofthom. You can follow me on Twitter, adashmariesonofthom. Follow my YouTube. The podcast will also be on the YouTube if you're not into the podcasting streaming situation. And I know I should not make this announcement. It's kind of premature, but I have not really decided. But I am looking into doing Twitch. So if you guys want me to do Twitch, let me know. Please help me get some secrets. I want to just expand, dude. I'm ready to expand. New Year's is coming up in like 4 months. And y'all know every year since I've done this podcast, since I've been writing, I've always looked into doing something to expand. And I love doing it for my fans. Shout out to everybody listening in the States. Shout out to everybody listening in Germany, Macedonia. I hope I just have the shout out list gets longer. I don't care. I'll take time to shout y'all out. But I gotta go. I gotta get ready for my trip. I gotta get ready for the weekend. So y'all stay safe out there. Wear your mask, wash your hands, whatever. Gotta go. Peace.